Hello, I'm Cheyenne Maddie, and my project was over the misconceptions of psychology, but more specifically, the misconceptions of those majoring in psychology. And the research that I found while doing this project made me see that there are so many false misconceptions out there regarding psychology and just about those students who are majoring in psychology in general. And some examples of these misconceptions includes people that think psychology is an easy major because there's not much work that the students have to do and just the classes are just super easy to get through. Another would be that you can't do much with a psychology degree, like you have to go on to get your master's in order to pursue a career in psychology. And then lastly, many believe that psychology is not an actual science, and I feel like this would be the main misconception that leads to the most problems within this, because a lot of people fail to acknowledge or are just blind to the scientific aspects of psychology. And research further explains how these misconceptions can also be very detrimental to students who are studying psychology and just how it can affect their learning. They found that once students have been introduced to these false narratives and false teachings, it's a lot harder for them to learn the truth and accept what psychology actually is about. I chose this topic because I'm a psychology student myself, and I've seen firsthand all of these misconceptions and just how it affects the students. And I can't even keep track of how many times that I've been told I chose the easiest major and that I can't do anything once I graduate from Graceland. I'll have to go on and get my master's in order to do something with it. And most of these misconceptions just stem from lack of knowledge that people have of the field. So after seeing all this and just hearing about all of it, it really motivated me to write over this topic. This project has given me a lot of leverage and knowledge so that the next time I do run into a conversation about how I can't do anything with my major or how it was so easy, it'll help me be better prepared. So I'll have the upper hand on the conversation. So for these misconceptions, I came up with some solutions, and the solutions that I came up with include making psych classes more available or even make them mandatory for high school students. So this solution would take a lot of work though. Like I'd have to go get it approved through school boards and have to make a claim to the government about why it should be mandatory. So I need a lot more people to help me with that. I need a lot of acceptance, I guess. So I would need some pretty high up people in my corner to get that approved. It would require me to also explain to students and teachers why we would need them to be in the school. But getting these approved would be very, very good for the students. It would help them learn early on what all psychology can do. And actually a study that BBC reported, BBC News, it explains that when you teach students things earlier on, it's a lot more easier for them to retain that information. So this would also help with curbing some of those misconceptions earlier on, and it would allow students to gain that information before they have to go to college. So this would also help them make the decision on if they want to major in psychology before they even get to college and stuff. So that'll also be helpful. Another solution that I came up with would be to make it a mandatory gen ed class for all universities and colleges. And Kendra Cherry actually wrote a really good article over why psych classes are important for all students and not just psychology students. And she made a really good point that psychology classes can actually help students gain a better understanding of why people act the way they act. So that can be very useful for all professions, because almost every profession you go into deals with talking to people, interacting with other people, and all that stuff. So once these, it's important that we address these misconceptions and find ways and solutions to not make them so present in everybody's lives, and it's important that we address these misconceptions and find ways to educate those on them, because psychology is a very complex field and there's a lot that goes into learning about psychology, and psychology can do so much. Like it just does so many great things and can teach people so many great things and very important things too. So addressing these misconceptions, it can help students learn better. It can help just like the general public know more about what all psychology can do, and just even just a bachelor's degree in psychology can do. And if we keep ignoring these misconceptions, it'll only continue to hurt students' learning abilities and just make it worse for them in the long run. So it's very important that we address these. Thank you.